Let's can Granny's spiced apples. First, we're going to clean our sink thoroughly with soap. Then we'll rinse it out, and we'll start to refill it with clean, fresh water, to which I'll add about a cup of apple cider vinegar to wash our produce in. Place all the apples into the sink with apple cider vinegar water. I'll take each one into my hands and scrub it gently before draining the sink and placing the apples into a basket lined with a dishcloth. Next up, I'll place the clean apples onto a cutting board and use my apple core and slicer to slice them, leaving the skin on. Then I'll place them into a bowl of spring water that has a bit of apple cider vinegar in it in order to prevent discoloration. After they've soaked for a bit in the apple cider vinegar water, I'll move them over to my cooking pot, draining off the apple cider vinegar water. Next, they'll go onto my stovetop. I'll add 8 cups of spring water, 8 cups of Dixie crystal sugar, and 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Next, I turn the heat on beneath the kettle, and I begin to gently stir in the cinnamon and sugar into the apples. After that, I'll come in with a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar and add it to the pot. Then I'll place the lid atop the pot, and I'll bring it slowly to the simmer and then to the boil. After it's boiled for about 10 minutes, I'll check the apples. I want them to be fork tender so that I can just easily insert the fork into the apple. And when I press on it with the fork, I want it to give, but I do not want it to turn into applesauce. As you can see here, I'm showing you what I'm looking for. Next up, I'll heat a little kettle with lids and rings in it. This is controversial. You can only do this with superb canning lids. You cannot do it with other types of lids. Then I'll pull a jar from the oven where it's been on 250 degrees for the entire time that I've been cooking these apples. After I fill the jar with apples, I ladle in some of the syrup that is collected in the boiling kettle. Then I place my hot lid and hot ring on it, and I'll continue this until I've filled every jar, emptying the kettle. I'll place it over onto my island on a towel, set them aside, and they seal every single time without fail. If you're a rules follower and you want to water bath it, do so for 15 minutes.